Welcome to Full Spectrum Frontiers, the podcast where we dive deep into the full spectrum of conflict, national security, and the impact it has on society. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton, and each week we break down the big national security issues of the week, making them digestible, relevant, and yes, sometimes a little bit entertaining. Now, I get it. When most people hear national security, their brains start to shut off. They picture endless jargon, high-tech gadgets, and mind-numbing policy debates that have zero impact on their daily lives. But here's the deal. National security affects everything, from the air we breathe, to the food on our plates, to the very freedoms we enjoy. It's not just for politicians or people in military uniforms. It's for all of us. And that's exactly why we're here. This week, we've got a jam-packed episode. I'm breaking down three major issues that should be on your radar. First, we're talking about the mysterious drone sightings over northeastern U.S. states. Yeah, drones. No, not the Amazon delivery ones, but the kind that could pose a threat to national security. Second, the Supreme Court is about to make some big decisions on TikTok. Yes, that app on your phone. It's not just about cat videos anymore. This is about China, surveillance, and your data, and finally, Chinese espionage activities inside U.S. industries. Let's just say it's not just hackers stealing passwords from your grandma's Facebook anymore. No, it's much bigger than that. But before we dive into all of that, I need a favor. If you're enjoying the show, please like, share, and review the podcast. It helps me out and ensures that we keep this conversation going. We're all about spreading the knowledge, so let's get it out there. All right, let's jump into the National Security Weekly wrap-up. All right, let's talk about drones. No, not the kind your nephew plays with in the backyard or the one your neighbor uses to make artsy videos of his garden. I'm talking about unidentified drones that have been spotted buzzing around the northeastern United States like nosy mosquitoes. Over the past month, there have been thousands of reports. Yes, thousands of these mysterious flying objects. States like New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey have seen these things hovering near military installations and even over urban areas. So, what's the deal? Here's what we know, or rather what we don't. These drones are operating at night, they're fast, and they're sneaky. Some reports even say they fly in coordinated formations, and no one seems to know where they're coming from. Federal agencies, including the FAA and the Department of Homeland Security, are all over this, but so far, radio silence on solid answers. Theories? Oh, we've got plenty. Everything from foreign espionage to pranksters with too much money and not enough sense. But the truth? It's elusive. Let's pause for a second. Drones like these, flying unaccounted for, present a very real challenge. Think about it. Military bases, nuclear power plants, and critical infrastructure are all sitting ducks if someone gets creative with these things. And while we're beefing up counter-drone technology, we're in a race against time to figure out who's behind it and why. Now, don't get me wrong. Drones themselves aren't the enemy. They're an incredible piece of technology. They've revolutionized agriculture, photography, logistics, you name it. But like any tool, it's all about whose hands they're in. And right now, it feels like someone's holding an ace up their sleeve, and we're left guessing what the game even is. Let's talk risks. The biggest one here is espionage. Unidentified drones flying over sensitive military areas is the equivalent of someone peeking over your shoulder during a poker game. And if that's not unsettling enough, these drones could be used for cyber attacks. Imagine this. A drone lands on a company rooftop, hacks into their network, and steals classified information. Sounds like science fiction? It's not. It's happening. But wait, there's more. What if these drones aren't here to spy? What if they're testing our defenses? Think of it like a hacker running a script to see which password combinations work. If foreign adversaries are behind this, they're probing our systems to see what gets flagged and what doesn't, and that should keep all of us awake at night. So, what's the silver lining here? First, we're on it. The U.S. has some of the best minds in tech working to address drone threats. Second, these sightings are forcing policymakers to have a much-needed conversation about airspace security. And third, it's a wake-up call. We've been playing defense for too long. Maybe it's time to switch up the game and take a more proactive approach to protecting our skies. Look, we can't afford to brush this off as a non-issue. Whether these drones are pranksters, spies, or something in between, they're a symbol of the new challenges we face in national security. And as unnerving as it all is, it's also a chance to step up, innovate, and stay ahead of the curve. All right, that's enough about our airborne mystery for now. Let's shift gears to something a little more grounded, or maybe I should say digital. Next up, we're diving into the Supreme Court showdown with TikTok. Spoiler alert, it's not just about dance videos anymore. All right, folks, let's talk about the app that's been living rent-free on millions of phones, TikTok. For most of us, TikTok is where we go to watch hilarious pet videos, DIY hacks we'll never try, and Gen Z roasting millennials for our side parts and skinny jeans. But behind the dance challenges and viral memes lies a national security debate that's been brewing for years. And now, it's reached a boiling point. This week, the Supreme Court decided to fast-track a hearing on the federal government's push to either force TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to sell its U.S. operations or face a nationwide ban. That's right. Your favorite app could be gone faster than your New Year's resolutions. But before we panic about losing access to the water food talk, let's unpack what's really going on here. At the heart of this case is a very serious question. Is TikTok a tool for Chinese surveillance? ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, is headquartered in China, and under Chinese law, companies are required to share data with the government if asked. Critics argue that this means the Chinese Communist Party could potentially access data on millions of Americans. Data that includes everything from your location to your interests and even your keyboard habits. Now, if you're thinking, what does Beijing care about my cat videos? You're not alone. But here's the thing. It's not about the content you're watching. It's about the metadata, your location, your interactions, your preferences. It's all part of a digital fingerprint that in the wrong hands could be used for targeted propaganda, influence campaigns, or even espionage. And if that doesn't sound dystopian enough, imagine a scenario where this data is used to manipulate public opinion during an election. The possibilities are endless, and not in a good way. But let's pump the brakes for a second. TikTok's U.S. team has repeatedly denied these claims, saying that American user data is stored on servers in the U.S. and Singapore, not China. They've even proposed an initiative called Project Texas, which would wall off U.S. data and put it under the oversight of a domestic company. Sounds reassuring, right? Well, not everyone's convinced. Here's where it gets tricky. On the one hand, we have legitimate national security concerns. On the other hand, banning TikTok or forcing its sale raises serious questions about freedom of expression and digital rights. For many users, TikTok isn't just an app. It's a platform for creativity, activism, and connection. Shutting it down would set a precedent that could ripple across the tech world. What's next? Facebook? Instagram? Your favorite local pizza shop's app? Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. So where do we go from here? First, let's recognize that this isn't just about TikTok. It's about setting the ground rules for a new era of tech geopolitics. How do we ensure that foreign-owned platforms operate in a way that's transparent and secure? How do we protect user data without stifling innovation or infringing on free speech? These are the questions we need to be asking, not just in courtrooms, but in living rooms, boardrooms, and classrooms. And here's the silver lining. This case could push us to develop better policies for the digital age, policies that balance security and freedom, policies that hold tech companies accountable without squashing creativity. It's a tall order, no doubt, but if there's one thing we know about America, it's that we rise to the challenge. All right, let's leave TikTok to the legal eagles for now and move on to our third and final story. This one takes us into the shadows, where espionage, cyber theft, and good old-fashioned spycraft are alive and well. Stay tuned. All right, let's pull back the curtain on something straight out of a spy thriller: Chinese espionage. Forget James Bond or Jason Bourne. This is real life, and it's happening in boardrooms, factories, and research labs across America. This week, reports surfaced of a Chinese espionage network that has allegedly infiltrated critical U.S. industries, including defense contractors. If you thought corporate espionage was just a subplot in a Netflix series, think again. Here's the gist. According to intelligence sources, Chinese operatives have been targeting American companies, stealing trade secrets, and compromising sensitive systems. We're not just talking about emails or sales pitches here. This is intellectual property, military technology, and infrastructure vulnerabilities. The kind of stuff that can give adversaries a serious upper hand. Now, let's break this down. The term espionage might conjure images of trench coats and briefcases, but in 2024, it looks a lot more like phishing emails and malware-laden USB drives. The methods are modern, but the goals are ancient, gaining an advantage by any means necessary. China has been accused of employing a strategy known as elite capture, where influential figures in foreign governments or industries are cultivated to serve Chinese interests. Combine that with state-sponsored cyber attacks, and you've got a recipe for disruption on a massive scale. Here's a chilling example. Defense contractors, companies that work directly with the Pentagon, are high-value targets. Imagine a scenario where blueprints for next-generation fighter jets or missile defense systems are stolen and replicated, or worse. Imagine those designs being used against us in a future conflict. It's not just a hypothetical, it's a reality that national security experts are grappling with right now. So what's being done about it? For starters, there's been a massive push to strengthen cybersecurity across the board. Companies are investing in robust firewalls, employee training programs, and advanced threat detection systems. The government is stepping up too, with initiatives aimed at improving public-private collaboration. And let's not forget the power of good old-fashioned counterintelligence, identifying and neutralizing threats before they escalate. But let's be real. For every measure we put in place, there's a countermeasure waiting in the wings. The question isn't just how we stop espionage, but how we stay one step ahead. It's a cat and mouse game, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Now, I know this sounds bleak. Espionage, theft, cyber attacks, it's enough to make anyone feel a little paranoid. But here's the thing. Acknowledging the problem is the first step to solving it. The fact that we're having these conversations, that we're identifying vulnerabilities and working to address them, is a sign of progress. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Here's the takeaway. The challenges we face are big, but so are the opportunities. The more we learn, innovate, and collaborate, the better equipped we'll be to protect what matters most. And as we've seen time and time again, when Americans put their minds to something, there's no challenge too great. All right, folks, that wraps up our dive into the dark world of espionage. Stick around for the outro, where I'll tie all of these stories together and give you some final thoughts on this week's national security landscape. That's a wrap on this week's National Security Weekly Wrap-Up. We've covered a lot today, from the mysterious drones buzzing over the northeastern skies to the digital battlefield of TikTok, and finally, the shadowy world of espionage infiltrating American industries. These stories may seem like headlines plucked from a dystopian novel, but they're real, they're happening, and they matter more than ever. So what's the big takeaway? It's simple. Awareness is power. Whether it's understanding the risks posed by unchecked drone activity, recognizing the fine line between national security and personal freedoms, or staying vigilant against espionage threats, every one of us plays a role in shaping the future of our security. And let's not forget, challenges like these are opportunities in disguise. They push us to innovate, collaborate, and rise above. Now, I know national security can feel overwhelming. It's complex, it's messy, and it's often out of sight for most people. But that's why we're here. Because understanding these issues doesn't have to be exclusive to politicians or defense analysts. It's for all of us. And the more we know, the better prepared we'll be to face the challenges of tomorrow. Before we go, I've got one small ask. If you enjoyed today's episode, found it insightful, or just think someone else could benefit from hearing it, please take a moment to like, share, and review the podcast. Your support helps keep this conversation going and ensures we can reach more people who care about these topics as much as we do. Thank you for joining me on Full Spectrum Frontiers. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton, reminding you to stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop asking questions. Until next time, take care and keep exploring the frontiers.
It's just you, me, and the odds. We stuck together, we two peas in a pod. You dealt a bad hand, I'm there seizing the cards. We'll never be separated till we seeing the gods. We've been low together, high forever. Long as we go together, we'll die whenever. Be a light, couldn't let the darkness try you ever. Truth in my word, you I lie to never. And when the world gets a little too hard, wipe your eyes, put away your sorrow. When it's war, I'll be leading the charge, and I'll be still fighting for you tomorrow. Yeah, even with a blindfold or in different time zones, could find my way to you with my eyes closed. There's nothing between us. Go to Mars or Venus, stand in front of every one of them rocks, they slinging and beating shit.